My name is Jenny LeMaster.
I'm Stephanie Stevens.
And we're at Keg Farms in Highview, West Virginia. We're a small farm, specialty farm. We have a propagation house, 3 greenhouses, and a wash station. We have animals to support the farm, the vegetable farm. We have cows, goats, ducks, and chickens. We grow primarily specialty vegetables. We teach a program called Farming God's Way that conserves water, soil, air. We have a 3-part focus. We focus on schools and teaching young people how to grow vegetables, how to take care of animals, how to break the yoke of poverty, whether it's in the United States or whether it's internationally. We also focus on community, teaching our community and sharing with our community. We have a program on Saturdays where folks come up and help work at the farm, whatever needs to be done, whether it's filling jars with honey or starting seeds or whatever, labeling things that particular day, and they go home with vegetables. So it's like a community garden, but a little bit different. And then we have a 3rd part to our program, and that's missions. Missionaries come and learn here and then take it to where their focus is, or we also have individuals from other countries who need this information. They take it back and teach it themselves, which is the more effective in their own villages and their own communities, how to grow their own food.
In 2022, we had my number 1 employee, Tyler Garrett, who lives in Wardensville, had been with us for several years, and he was doing great, and he was getting itchy. He wanted to have his own farm. He wanted to do it for himself. So what we did was we wrote up a lease and gave him the reins for Keg Farms, and he took those reins for a 1.5 years. And he did so good that he bought his own farm in Wardensville. He's now Pine Hollow Farms, and he runs a small CSA out of Wardensville. That lease ended in January of this year, and we added a 3rd high tunnel. And instead of growing just produce, we decided, one, not to compete with Tyler and not compete with Wardensville Garden Market, but to grow people as well as produce. So we're still growing the same amount of produce, but now we're teaching, we're touching our community, we're touching schools, and we're touching missions.
Bees are here primarily for their pollination. The byproducts are honey, wax, and propolis. But I've enjoyed keeping the bees and seeing how they work. My husband and I are both allergic to bees, but their pollination is night and day when they're on the property and when they're not on the property. So bees are very important to what we're doing here. The cover crops that we're doing this year at the moment are sunflowers, beans, and squash. In conjunction. They're all grown together. They'll all become feed for the livestock this winter, but they also are feeding, the beans are feeding the soil. The sunflower stalks are used as a cover on the ground, as a blanket, God's blanket, to mulch around the plants to keep the moisture in, to hold the soil in place. Up here on top of the ridge, we do have a breeze blowing most of the time, but it's very drying. Our soil is naturally thin and moisture is quickly wicked away. So the blanket is pretty critical in keeping the plants protected. The beans will add nitrogen to the soil, and again, the big leaves on the squash and the squash themselves will store really well this winter, so that we've got food for the livestock through the winter.
The compost feeds the garden feeds the compost, the animals feed the garden feeds the animals. You know, it's this finding cycles, the life cycles that are continual, and keeping that circle closed.
When you own the land, it's your responsibility. It's our fiscally and moral responsibility to care for this land. It's only ours for this generation. It's going to be somebody else's next generation, and it's critical that we take care of our resources. So many people don't get that, and it's important that we not only maintain its current value but increase it, and we're increasing it by building the soil not allowing it to blow away or wash away or go away with the vegetables that we harvest from it. We want to put back more than we take out every single time.